There was a Harvard study that was done, measuring what makes people really happy. And they found that those that had enduring relationships were very happy. Funnily enough, money was not one of the things that made people happy. So the minimum one needs is, they did some Gallup poll and it was like $50,000 a year to be comfortable. But having 100,000 didn't double the happiness, if you know what I mean. Relationships are very strange. Right? And if any of you read did you all get the newsletter for last week? It was on friends.
Yes.
And on friendships. Those are very important things in our life. Having people that nurture you and that love you. But sometimes you need people around you to make you get out of your comfort zone. Everything is wonderful. Life is smooth sailing. We've got husband and 2 children and life is going on. I'm going to work in the mornings, pick up my kids, soccer practice, everything's fine. And then all of a sudden something happens in that relationship. Either he becomes fond of his drink, or he becomes fond of another woman, and then you're thrown off balance completely. Because you had this wonderful thing going, life was all smooth sailing. But it is only in difficult times that you actually stop and think about yourself. All this while you were going on autopilot. You didn't notice what was happening. You can't remember the sandwich you made on Monday from the sandwich you made on Friday. Everything was just going one activity after another. And it's sometimes it's a curveball. You never expected it. Now what do you do with it? What do you do? You're in your... I had one student come here and she was in her 60s when her husband left her. 60s. Lived with her for so many years. And at the time you think you're going to retire together. But she's found herself a great job now. And now I don't see her, which means she's doing okay. I saw her for a long time when she was not doing okay. Anytime something unfortunate happens, when the universe decides to shut something down, there's a reason for it. That it is because at that time, and only then, only when things are not going well, do you start looking inward. There's no chance of it if life is smooth sailing, if everything is going well. Why should you? You're going out, you're having fun, you're going to parties, you have a great life, everything's... But now, there's this whole future. What am I going to do by myself? How am I going to manage? Is this ever going to work out? Why did this have to happen now? What am I going to tell my children? And it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. But the first step in any of these situations is to accept it. Because inside of you, there is this inner resistance that's saying, no, this should not be happening to me. I don't deserve this. I've given my best years to this marriage. I really mustn't be, this is not fair to me. Nothing in life is either fair or unfair. It just is. It's a series of happenings. You are not responsible for the behavior of your children, your husband, your grandfather, your father-in-law, your boss's wife. You're responsible only for yourself. And life throws you a bunch of curveballs right through, just when you think everything is perfect. And that's when the art of living comes out. How are you going to deal with this? It's all perspective. We visited a few couples, friends of ours in San Francisco. And the first couple we stayed with, they were abusing each other from morning to night, morning to night. It was oppressive to be in that atmosphere where you could see how much of hatred there was between the two of them. And he was doing reasonably. The fight one morning was because he refused to pay for a Rolex watch for her brother or something like that, something so stupid. And I was thinking to myself, what a waste of life, if they dislike each other so much, if the water has come into the boat and there's no possibility of bailing out, it's time for another boat. It's okay. There is nothing that says that once you commit, you have to stay for life. You always have a choice. But the choice they make is to stay. And this is the same victim mentality that I was talking to you earlier about people that don't want to get out of that horrible situation. They like being the victim. They like being oppressed and feeling miserable and having everyone feeling sorry for them. They're not ready to take the next step or make a change in their lives. And then we went to another family where the husband had been without work for several years after being a very senior officer, and had actually started driving a taxi. And the wife would wear that taxi medal on her neck, just honoring him and showing pride and supporting him. There was no money in that household, but there was so much love. It was a terribly difficult situation for them too. They had lost their fancy life, the jet-setting life. They're buying clothes in a thrift store. My friend was working as a nanny through really difficult times. And that was a really difficult time. It doesn't have to be a person. Maybe he caused the problem, but the problem existed. And to deal with it, to break up a relationship because the money is not enough, or the lifestyle is gone, that is such a selfish way of looking at things. And it was beautiful to see how they had forged their relationship. It was beautiful. Just beautiful to see. Difficult people and difficult situations are hard. But it is those kind of people that make us look inward. When it's not such a close relationship, when it's not your child, difficult people, most often the most difficulty we face is with our husbands, our in-laws, our parents and our children. They are individuals. They may have been born from our bellies or from our seed, but they just are born through us. They do not belong to you. You do your best, but you are in no way responsible for the outcome. The best of homes, the best of upbringings have had children getting into drugs. And in the grief counseling group, I was surprised. I always thought that the drug problem was from broken homes, dysfunctional relationships. But no, these were good, loving homes. good homes, good people. And still, there was this situation where it's the most helpless feeling when you see your child hurtling down a path deep into a cesspool and you can do nothing to help them. You can't even reach them. At such times, you cannot give up. You have to keep trying. You have to keep giving them that love and that support. You have to keep handing them that little branch so that they can pull themselves out of it. You cannot give up. But if it doesn't happen, it's not your fault. You are not responsible. You still have to remain happy. You still have to remain strong inside. Faith, courage, and gratitude. I always talk about this. You have to have the faith that it's going to be okay. A vision that it's all going to work out at the end. You have to have the courage to go through it. It's not easy. When you see your child in a hospital, picked up off the street because she was drinking. It's like, you belong to one of the best families. How could you do this to me? It's the first thought that comes. But it's not about me. It's not about the family. It's just something that happens. Stuff happens all the time. And that's the time you have to give even more love and even more support. You cannot let it go. But there are other relationships, and we have plenty of those, amongst acquaintances and the extended family, that are very, very difficult. People that are picking fights with you all the time, finding fault with you all the time, bringing you down all the time. Nah, you can never do this. It's never going to work out for you. You're too this and you're too that. And I thought that was just me, but I'm reading Michelle Obama's Becoming. And if you haven't read it, it's a wonderful book. I'm reading every single word. And the opposition, talk about difficulty, all around her was overpowering. But if you remain centered and focused on doing the right thing, nothing shakes you. The opposition can get overpowering when you know you're doing the wrong thing. But if you are completely ensured and you know in your heart of hearts that your actions are done for the betterment of society, for the betterment of the community, for the betterment of the family, for the betterment of humanity, then nothing shakes you. Nothing shakes you at all. But that's celebrities, that's a different psyche altogether. But in our day-to-day lives, the reason why we all don't succeed, or we all don't follow our dreams, or we all don't manifest our innermost desires, is because people say, that's not for you. My dad always told me, you're a weakling. You can't play tennis. And I was thinking of him, and last week I did 120-pound deadlifts. I said, I'm not weak. Look at my age. I'm not even a young child. I still did that. Nobody can tell you what you're capable of or what you're capable of doing. Difficult people have their own problems, which they impose on you. So we have this thing in Hamsa that I keep talking about called the deflector. And you have to learn to put up that deflector. It's a little plastic screen. They don't know it's there. But nothing they say comes through to you bounces off. So there are certain people in my life I know cause me a lot of anxiety. And I sit like this deadpan and I have that deflector in front of me and nothing they say. But once I use it, it's fine. Sometimes I forget. And I get back to the old conditioning and then I'm like bothering everybody in the house and talking about it and texting and calling and telling everyone about it. And then I say, hey, what am I doing? I don't need to be affected by these. I know I'm doing the right thing. I know I'm okay. And it's my problem, I'll deal with it. Whatever it is that's wrong. Such negative influences, if they continually surround you, they pick at your self-esteem, they make you feel less of a person, and they never allow you to achieve your potential. And let me tell you, the world is an enormous place. There's so much you can do. If only you're centered and happy and confident that today's the day. It's all going to happen today. I tell you, every time I do the breathing and I do the meditation, I get up feeling like a lion. Like, okay, now what can I do? What am I going to do today? The days that are not good, it's like normally, over the course of the day, your energy wears down. And I'm not able to do the evening meditation many times. And if I don't sit down for a few minutes to clear my head, then I can feel the old demons coming back. But you have to wake up each day thinking that today is the day, because today is the only day. I mean, there isn't a tomorrow, because tomorrow will become today. It's all today. It's all a collection of today. You have to make today work. Just now has to be important. You cannot let negativity, negative people, make you something that you are not. As soon as you cut them out of your life, you'll find yourself blossoming. You'll find yourself growing. You have to learn that you don't need their approval. We have those people right in our lives that need to approve of what we're doing. And once you learn that it doesn't matter what they think, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, I'm doing what is right for me. I'm saying what is right for me. And of course, you've got to be able to weed out the difficult people from the ones that are really making you go deep. It's when you have an impossible boss that you give up a job that's boring and no good for you, where you're not growing, where you're not doing it, and you quit and you do something totally different. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that until it comes to a point where you just can't take it anymore. And then one fine day you say, this is it, I'm not going to do this. You walk out and your life takes a completely different turn. Do you know I had a book reading on Monday, and there was once one man there who was 100 years old. And he attends every lecture that's held in that Booker Center for Learning, just using a stick. And he asked me intelligent questions during my presentation. I was amazed. You never stop reinventing yourself. You never stop learning. You never stop growing. I never imagined my husband would ever be in sales. He's a finance guy. That's what he's trained for. Done it for years. But as soon as he switched gears, he is so happy going to work and coming home from work. Why? Because the situation in his life forced that earlier job to go and forced him to search for something that was different. It was scary at first, but suddenly he discovered he loves it. He would never have done it. He would never have done it if not for a difficult situation. So don't be scared. The divine has nothing that's bad. There is nothing in this world that's bad. There is nobody in this world that's bad. Everything is designed to bring out the good in you, to bring the change that you need, to refocus your energies, to move in a different way, to develop something that was latent within you. It's all good. It's all good. Whenever you look back to a difficult time in your life, you'll see that there was a growth that came from it. A spiritual growth, an economic growth, a financial growth, something within. It's never bad. So never look at your problems, your problem people, or your difficult situations as obstacles. They're merely challenges. Challenges. We can all do with a few challenges. After all, that's life. It's some stuff, one after another. And how you deal with it, with complete peace, knowing that happiness is your birthright, and to live each moment with faith, courage, gratitude. That's all you need.